the Anti-Social Podcast, episode 212. This week's guest is Lazer. Lance is from Adelaide. He's one of the guys from Tough Boys, a great band that I got to see earlier this year when I was in Adelaide doing a bunch of podcasts. I went to their EP launch for their latest release, Action International, a top EP, like really, really good. Highly recommended. So I'll have links in the show notes. And if you're listening to this episode on time, this Sunday, the 29th of March, 2020, they are releasing their next single called Greek Olympics. The song is from the EP and there'll be a video clip coming out on Sunday. And if you're listening to this after the 29th of March, I'll update the show notes and embed either a Facebook or a YouTube video in the show notes there so you can check that out. I'll also have the video clip for the previous single, Sexy Man, which is pretty out there. And hopefully you guys get a kick out of it. But Lance is a top guy. I've known him since maybe we were 16 years old, or at least one of us was 16 years old, and we were chatting on MIRC, so we talk about a bit of that in the chat, and just talk about Tough Boys and a bunch of the other projects he's been involved with over the years. He's a really out there guy, just a really top dude, and stoked to know him and be able to have him on the podcast as well. So make sure you go and check out Tough Boys on Facebook. I think it's facebook.com/toughboysofficial. I'll put links to the Spotify and YouTube pages in the show notes over at andydowling.net, or you can check out the show notes in your podcast player, and also Facebook and Twitter links to Lance as well. Also, we mentioned, I think briefly in this chat, there was another project that Lance did about a year or two ago called Me, and I'm sure he doesn't want this highlighted as much, but I absolutely love this. Basically, he grabbed a whole bunch of karaoke tracks of these famous songs and just changed all the words to basically make it sound like he's singing about himself. I'm describing this really badly, but I'll put links to the Facebook and Bandcamp pages for Me, so make sure you check that out as well because it's a good laugh.
Hey, this is Barrister TY, OBE. Just letting you know that Andy's shit thing this weekend is cancelled. Not that anyone would have gone anyway, but now you know.
Anyway, all the show notes, andydowling.net, andysocial.net, blah, 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 blah. Greek Olympics, the new single will be out on Sunday, the 29th of March, 2020. Please enjoy this great chat with Lance Lazer.
What was the other one? Oh, fucking Mark came up with... I don't know if he came up with it, but like one sound check is just out there just going fucking... Like, there was a Scot, an Irishman, and a Czech too. I'm just like, oh, fuck you, dude. I tried to bust one out, and he just gave me the biggest Dutchy silence, just like, I'm like, all right, mine wasn't funny.
Well, I mean, it's when you're doing those sound checks, it's like, it's usually the stock sound, check, 1, 2, check, check, or some the pros go tss, tss, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I wouldn't have a clue. I'm just like, hello. And then Tim usually goes, testicles, 1, 2, 3, and that's his go-to. But I think people definitely need to get out there and mix it up a bit. Yeah,
I do rugs, carpets, rugs. Like I'm selling rugs. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, actually, all right. There could be an idea in that. I reckon you could just record just your sound checks and then compile it together like a montage of all your different ones, and then just use like old school like 90s television commercials and things like that.
Dude, because as part of our set, the way we do it is we have one mono backing track, just one file. So there's no stopping in between songs.
Okay.
Like it's all like it actually gives it more of a live sort of shit because if I break a string, the song's still going. I have to quickly swap guitars and fucking keep going. But because of that, we need a couple of breaks here and there, so we put like little, like we've got like a MIDI version of Physical by Olivia Newton-John that just comes in. We just have like a little boogie and a little break. And but one of them is everyone who grew up in Melbourne would know it, but it was Car City.
Okay.
Keep your eyes open for a bargain, Car City. And then it just plays the ad. But like the song is so good, we have to throw that in.
Oh man!
So that just comes on in the middle of a set. And people are like, all right.
You were doing, you did some videos where you were sort of doing your own sort of compilation for some of those 90s.
Oh, the kids ads.
Yeah, kids ads.
Yeah. Funny thing was, like, they came out and I was like, oh man, that's pretty funny. The end result was awesome, but I've never been angrier in my life making them because I had to, like, learn, because I was lip syncing along to, like, all these little kids, and I had to learn them perfect. And if I fucked up just a little bit, have to start over again. But I'm not a pro with any of this sort of stuff, so I just have it playing in another room So like, and then go and sit. Oh, it was just haphazard as shit.
So you walk out of the room, review it, get it sort of,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, and then walk back in.
Yeah, and I have to do it like over. I have it on repeat, and if I miss the start, I'd have to wait for another 30 seconds for the ad to complete, and then
Oh man, you'd be waking up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, just suddenly like reciting like this Lumobile or something like that. Oh, just
there's video like just outtakes of just me like fucking up a line, and not many people see my legit angry face.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the video. It's just so embarrassing. You're just like, oh shit, I'm like furious right there. And here I am trying to create this funny little thing so people like, I'll get like 20 likes on the internet. It's just like, oh well.
I will rage to make people laugh.
Yeah.
That's it. The sacrifices. You make.
The creative process, man. It's not all fun and games.
So you've got. So by the time people hear this, will be. I've got no idea when it will go out. But as of today, you've got your EP launch tonight.
Yep.
I'm going to come. I'm looking forward to seeing like what the hell.
Yeah, you haven't seen Tough
Nah,
Boys yet, have you?
I have not. But seen the video clip.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of the stuff that you guys have been putting online, and like it's just totally out there. But I've known you for quite a few years, and it just seems to be quite like a normal thing that you would be doing.
Well, I was thinking about this on the walk here. I've known you longer than most of my friends.
Oh, really?
From the Australia Metal Merc channel. And yeah, like Andy True.
Yeah,
was it?
Andy True.
With two zeros. Now look at you, you're famous.
Oh, well.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy International.
A global sensation.
So, but yeah, so like, as you said, it's pretty much where I expected to go creatively in the end, I guess.
It's no surprise.
It hasn't surprised me. The only thing that surprised me was when Mark and I put the band together. Like, he's my oldest friend, like way back, like Mildura days. Met him in like '98 or something like that. When we put it together, we're like, we could be the only ones who like this. Like, we're gonna do it anyway, and we could go out there and people will just be like, nah, that's very weird and silly, and no thank you. But instantly people were like, yeah, that was like, yeah, it was sick. Like, haven't seen something like that before. And we're like, yeah, well, we got our like Steinberger guitars, and
I know,
we do matching like guitar moves and shit like that. Bringing back a bit of the performance element of it. And yeah, but in the end, you just got to write the catchy songs.
I think I'll make a big assumption here, but I think part of probably the thrill for you is that knowing that you're making that risk by doing something that you love, there's a high chance that a lot of people just won't get it. And there's actually sort of an appeal to that.
Well, when it comes to like writing songs or doing this sort of stuff, I'm only filling in a gap of something I want to see or hear.
Yeah, cool.
Because if it doesn't work, then at least I can listen to it and go, well, I like it. So there's no
Create
point
your
in
own playlist.
trying to do something that another band's sort of doing, because then I'm like, well, I can just listen to them.
Yeah.
I can just go see them. So I don't get to see us play, but I perform it as if I'm trying to impress myself. Like, if I was out there, I'd be like, yeah, that was sick. Like that sort of a thing. So yeah, that's pretty like ego, I guess. Like, I'm not performing for you. I'm actually performing for an
myself.
imaginary me out there. So, but it works.
But it means you get into it a bit more, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Like in the end,
it gives you confidence.
Well, you gotta enjoy what you're doing. Like if you're just doing it to sort of tick a box for other people, hoping that other people like what you do, then it's not going to last. You know, you'll burn out.
Even our worst gig, I've had fun.
Yeah.
Like,
What's your worst gig?
We played. I felt bad for the dude. This promoter guy was trying to put on these shows, and he put it on in this room at front room at HQ, which just shut down last week because they're not making money.
Yeah, right.
A few gigs got cancelled, like Eskimo Joe, and I think In Flames was there. So
wow.
I don't know what they're going to do with that one now. But yeah, in the small front room, we were booked in there. I was like, all right, this should be a bit of fun. Like, we haven't played there, we want to check it out. A week before, they said, oh, we're not doing bands here anymore. So he had to scramble, put it on an Enigma, and no one came. And so we're playing to basically, like, my missus and, like, the other bands, and one of those sort of shows. It's like, oh, shit. But we still, like, gave it our all. And then at the end of the night, he comes up and he goes, sorry, guys, this is all the payers. And he gives us $6. And I was like, man, keep it, hey. We don't need the $6.
It's on us.
This show was on us. We've given up our gig fee a lot, actually. If the show hasn't worked out all right, we're like, especially if we're playing with a touring band.
Yeah.
And we've brought a bit of a crowd because we got our guys in Adelaide, but like no one in Adelaide knows them or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, look, you're on the road. We don't need this money.
Yeah.
So it's just like you guys keep it. But yeah, maybe you can repay the favour down the track or something.
Well, yeah, it comes back around.
Yeah. Pay it forward.
Do you guys do the was that Amity Affliction?
Mm-hmm.
Support?
Yeah, that was last Saturday.
That seemed to be like when you announced it, I thought, oh, completely unexpected.
Yeah, dude.
What was that like?
That was it was haphazard for us because it was at the Bridgeway.
Yeah.
And the Bridgeway is a very famous venue. Like we were talking to some dude there who worked there who was telling us about like how he saw In Excess their opening for the Divinals and shit like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit, man! Like this is got
some
a bit of
history
thing.
here.
But it's actually been closed as a venue for a few years, and it changed ownership or whatever, and it was just sitting there. But then they just done all these renos on it, and they want to turn it into like, because it's up north, it's out of the city. They want to turn it into a venue, holds 1,300. So it's a really good spot, but like, because it was basically their first gig back.
Okay.
You know, sold out, like 1,300 to see Amity and Ocean Grove and everything. And yeah, just... They didn't know, like, because the sound check sort of, like, was trying to figure that out, the new speakers and, like, new PA and all that sort of stuff. And everything sort of went over. And then it got to the point where Amity had to do their VIP sort of thing. So they had to, like, basically cut the sound. We didn't get a sound check.
Oh.
Like, or a line check or anything.
Oh, shit.
And we've got a backing track.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, we kind of need to get a bit of levels at least. So we're just like, all right, well, we'll see how that goes. But basically... There was a line around the block before doors even opened, so that helped us. Like, we got people in there. We were, like, shitting ourselves, like, people aren't going to come to see the first band.
Yeah, yeah.
But people just wanted good spots. They just wanted to party early. And I guess because it was out north, they couldn't just, like... There was no other pubs around, so they might as well just go there.
Get in early.
And, yeah, we played. It wasn't great stage sound, but I'm not one of those people that needs that perfect sort of thing. I'll just, like, go with whatever we have. Because I get annoyed... If, like, after every song you get, can I just get more, constantly, I'm just like, it takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Like, man, like, it sounds fine out here, just suck it up.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, like, Mike was a bit boomy. He cut it a couple of times to try and fix it. But apart from that, energy was good. Response was way better than I was expecting because...
That's what I was curious about, because, like, that would not be your crowd.
Yeah,
And the stereotypical crowd that would come to see you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah.
Oh, when we got the support, we had a lot of friends and stuff just go, like, man, I wish I was there, because it's sold out and everything, and I had a few people, like, trying to, are you guys selling tickets? I was like, sorry, man, like, we weren't given any. But, yeah, they were just saying, I'd love to see the faces of the Amity crowd when they see you guys just come out. But, the response was really good. Like, we got, like, decently loud. We didn't get any boos.
Okay, well, that's a start.
They were quite loud. Like, you could definitely hear them. I was like, oh, that's cool. And after the show, we, like, sold a few shirts. Like, we set up in the corner of the room while the other bands were playing, and I hung up a poster for our EP launch and everything, and they came up, got photos with us, and I was like, oh, I feel like a rock star. This is pretty cool. So, yeah, it went well. And, yeah, but... I don't think we'll get heaps of gigs like that one. So.
I saw it and I just went, oh man, what a fucking odd matchup. That's
we have, like, one thing I'll give us is we can fit on most bills.
Yeah.
We've played with, like, punk sort of hardcore sort of shows, like Buds and Wolfpack from Melbourne, the not-for-profit animal charity band. They every time they come to Adelaide, they always ask us to play, and they're just like sort of suicidal, sort of crossover style band, and then you've got us, like electronic power rock sort of stuff. But it all works. We've played on a metal lineup, completely metal, and we like Alkira and I forget the names of the other bands because I'm pretty hopeless. But afterwards, all these like big, like long hair, bearded men came up like, "That was sick, man." It's like, thanks, man. Like, we did play our heaviest songs for you, but still. But
I think the cool thing is, like, and you sort of said it before, it's like you're making an effort to sort of do stuff on stage. Like you're trying to make it entertaining. And I've said this heaps of times in the past where I think bands, but like musicians tend to sort of fall into the trap of, oh, well, I'm an artist, you know, and that romantic sort of thing saying, you know, I've got integrity, blah, blah, blah. I'm not an entertainer. This is my creative outlet, and I'm
the music's what's
that's right. The music will do the talking.
Yeah.
And look, depending on the style of music, sometimes it's better that they don't move and they don't do anything on stage, and the music sort of runs with it. But man, like in the end, people are coming out, they're paying. You got to fucking entertain. And so for you guys, like if you've got stuff and you intentionally like, you know, trying to choreograph things, you've got stuff playing, it's meant to make people feel good and enjoy themselves. Then that's the fucking key, isn't it?
Well, there's an amazing Adelaide band called Jungle City. I'll shout out them, who when like my old band Party used to play with them and stuff, and they said like they always had this theory called the deaf test. Okay. If a deaf person came to your show, are they still going to have a good time?
Yeah, cool. All right.
And so that always stuck with me. Like that's like, if they're just watching people up there just playing instruments and doing nothing else, they're just going to be like, why are we here? But if they see people like fucking bouncing around and really enjoying themselves, and the energy feeds off that way as well. Like no one's really going to like get into a band that's just standing there, making sure they're playing every note perfect. Like I bung notes like a motherfucker because like I said, I'm trying to perform to myself. And what I like to see is people not even looking at their instruments and just know where their fingers are. And so I'm always like hitting the wrong chord and just like slide down. No one heard that. But
I've always said like it's an ongoing joke where you go and play a show. And I remember years ago, like we don't drink anywhere near as much as we used to. And some of us don't drink anymore, but like 10, 15 years ago, you know, you would just get so liquored up, get on stage, and it was loose, it was disgusting, you were just fucking up all the time, and there were definitely extremes, but then you get off stage, you go, oh man, like we fucked up big time. And then the next show, you learn your lesson short term, and you, okay, well, only one drink now. And so then you have musically the best gig you've ever done, tight as, everyone's in sync, the chemistry's there, it's flowing, it's like, yes, okay, we nailed it. And you got one guy who walks up to you and sees both shows, and they go, and the second show they go, it wasn't as good as the last one, man. Like that last one, you guys were fucking on. You're on, and it's like, are you joking? I was like, that was atrocious. But from the crowd, like they're watching people just get into it, you know. And musically we were loose like big time, but we're also loose on stage, and what we were doing, we're moving around more, you know, no inhibitions whatsoever, we're just like just going hard. Whereas the next one, we're like super focused and concentrated, and we're overthinking what we're doing, which
it's almost like seeing like you've done a perfect live rehearsal. Like
so we would have failed. Like. We would have failed the deaf test on the second one. First one, we probably would have passed with flying colours because we were just a bunch of animals on stage. So I've always sort of kept it in mind to go, okay, I've got to find that healthy balance between not being absolutely out of control and being self-destructive.
It is a balance. It is a balance because sometimes, especially if you're like playing late, and
that's hard.
That you're just like, all right, so I've had a couple beers, and then you're like, well, we still got more on the rider. Then suddenly you go up there and you're like, whew, let's hope my muscle memory's good tonight.
I've had a few. I still have the old nightmare where I'm just like standing on stage and like something's not plugged in, or just suddenly I've got no idea what the music is and like how am I going to fluff this? And it's all been from experience where I've got on stage and gone, oh man, I don't know this section, or where's my hand about to go? And you just in your head crossing your fingers thinking, just praying, please, and then suddenly the hand just goes and you go, oh yes, okay, all right, cool, we're good.
Well, you guys, I'll say this though, you guys are far more intricate and complex than what Tough Boys would be. So I feel like it'd be tougher for you to get like wankered drunk and still like nail some of the sections you guys have got. Because we're very 4/4, most songs are 120 beats per minute, a lot of just ring out power chords style stuff. Not heaps of notey stuff, although there is some. Like we still play riffs, but... So I don't envy having to go out there and like, all right, so we're going into a solo section. We don't have a bass solo I've got like 2 guitar solos in like 20 songs or something. So
I think it's a different risk that you have, because for you guys, if you're playing sort of more open chords at times and it's a little bit more sort of mid-paced depending on the song, if you do fuck up that chord, it's probably more noticeable because it stands out. There's less to sort of take on board. Where if you're playing a riff that's got a million different notes, and if you sort of end up on the wrong fret and you can quickly recover, people sort of
it's part of the riff.
It's gone, yeah, And I always say, like with bass, bass sort of sits there and you don't quite notice it all the time until that note's wrong, and then it just pierces through the sound, and you suddenly go, oh fuck, So, like it's nerve wracking no matter what you do.
The other thing, especially if like we got a song called "Change My Mind," which is 3 chords, but the idea of it is it's just like this looping. Like I like to change my mind is the basic theme of the song. And so the lyrics just keep like rotating, same lyric over and over again, looping. And then, but the music underneath, same chords, but changed different ways they're played. Like sometimes it'll be palm muted, sometimes it'll be ring out, sometimes it'll be clean, that sort of thing. And if you're not locked, because it's slow, if you're not locked in, then the energy's just gone.
Yeah.
So you need to like actually be like, I'm feeling this. Otherwise, it's just like it might be easy to play, but it's just not feeling good.
That's it. And it's not going to translate across when you're playing live. One thing I've always been amused by you in the most polite of ways.
Here we go.
Here we go. But look, I remember years and years ago, your former self, and then making the decision to change your name. And I remember you hyping this up, like in like leading up to it. And to be honest, I think in a lot of people, we're talking about like IRC back in the day, old online chat, and you're like, changing my name, and we just thought you're full of shit. Like, just didn't think it was going to happen, and then you legally changed your name, and now you're Lance Lazer.
Yeah, the Amazer.
What was the big thing behind that for people that are being sort of introduced to you for the first time?
Well, I was born Caden Boxall, and I don't hate that name. I think it's a good name. Caden, especially now, is getting real popular. It's crazy. I think there's like a couple coming in the AFL and stuff. Yeah. There was one on Hawthorn's list for a while. But the problem was, the way mine was spelt, my mum always said, it's Welsh spelling. And it was Ceydn. And anyone who read it was like, Seaton's site? I'm just like, I'm not having this for the rest of my life. And if I'm going to change my name, I might as well come up with the coolest thing I can think of. And I think I announced it on the Maiden Down Under forums back in the day. It's like, I've come up with the name, it's Lance Lazer. I went through like a few other sort of things. And that was back when, I haven't talked to him in years, but Trixie Trash, Trent.
Yeah, old Trent.
I used to like bounce name ideas off him because he was like my hair metal god. And that was when I was deep into the hair metal sort of stuff. I'm like, I've got to have like a real striking name. And so, Lance Lazer. And it helped that I moved to Adelaide in 2006 and didn't know anyone. So I just went out and no one knew my name. So I just started introducing myself. Oh, I'm Lazer. Lazer, Lance Lazer, all right. And then in 2007, like everyone knew me as that. Yep. So for my 21st birthday present, my missus bought my name change. Wow. That was a present to me. So lucky it's worked out. We're still together. Otherwise, it's a very personal present.
Definitely.
But it's stuck around, and I've been Lazer now for over a third of my life. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
I was going to say it was ages ago when it all happened. Did you, like, I don't know what the process is to change your name, obviously a bunch of paperwork, but did you have to actually go into like a registry or something like that to go and discuss it? Was there anybody there that you had to actually interact with who was looking at your name and going, whoa, okay?
They didn't judge at all. I think it's if you came in with like, I'm changing my name to like Dickie McBallsack or something, they'd be like, we're not cool with this or whatever. It's weird though, because each state has their own way of doing it. Okay. And because I was doing it in Adelaide, it cost $170. I don't know what it is now. That was like, 13 years ago. But in Victoria, it was only $55. I was like, oh man, I just moved from Victoria. Like, fuck. But also in Victoria, it would take like 5 weeks or something, whereas in Adelaide, it only took a week. Okay. So I went in, had to go into like births, deaths and marriages or whatever it was and fill in the form. And I think I had like a small interview. She looked over it and went, all right, sweet. Didn't like even bat an eye. And then I'm just like, all right, I guess so. And she goes, oh, you'll get a new birth certificate in the mail. Wow. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then the funny thing, this is the best thing that happened was during that week before I got my birth certificate, it was my 21st birthday and my girlfriend Liz, she was driving us out to a family like house for some sort of birthday dinner or something like that. I wasn't a dinner because we went for Hungry Jack's on the way, but it was a drinks or something. So she was trying to impress me. We're at the light, she's driving, and she's put her drink on top of the roof, and she goes, "Oh, I'm a rebel. I'm like, are you doing it? Are you doing it?" She's like, "Yep." And so she takes off at the lights, and the drink falls off the roof. She's like, unmarked cop car behind us.
Oh, no.
So they pulled us over. It's like, oh, shit, this is the dumbest way to get pulled over. And so she has to go out, and she ended up just getting a warning for littering or some shit. Yeah. But, like, this chick cop comes around. I'm sitting there in the passenger seat. I was in a top hat for some reason. And she just looks at me and she goes, "So, what's your name?" Oh. And I'm like, what the fuck is my name right now? Like, I don't know.
Oh, were you sort of in the period
yeah, because I
formalized?
Applied for the new name.
Oh, wow, okay.
Didn't have the certificate yet. So I've just gone, I'm between names right now. And she's just looked at me like, I am not bothering myself with this, and just walks off. And like, it was just like, this is just littering. I am not getting into why is this guy not telling me his name situation. So... in hindsight, it's kind of a dumb thing to say to a cop. Like,
I'm just imagining all those like episodes of like RBT and things like that, where they're pulling over this sketchy person, and it's like, oh, how many have you had? And you can see that this guy's like off the Richter scale when it comes to alcohol reading, and he's like, oh, couple. and then just the story keeps changing, and then to say something like, I'm in between names, I mean, they'd be like, fucking
I like to imagine she's out there somewhere now still telling the story, like this dude just told me he was between names. What could that possibly mean? So but then like got my birth certificate, and that's when it got hard because I had to get photo ID, but they needed evidence that I'd changed my name more than just a birth certificate. So I go to the bank and they're like, we need photo ID, and it just turned into this sort of, it's like, oh, this is fucking bullshit, isn't it? But eventually the bank just gave me a letter saying, yeah, he's Lance Lazer now, and then it all fell into place.
Did you have anybody, family, friends, or anybody that sort of wasn't terribly impressed with the decision to do it?
No one was unimpressed, but I even said to people, if you knew me as Caden, you can keep calling me Caden. Yeah. But my name's Lance now, so if you introduce me to people, like that's my name. My dad could not handle that part of it. So he goes, this is my son Caden. I'm like, and I kept telling him, like, look, like, you can call me Caden, that's fine. But then, so he changed it to be even worse. He'd be just like, this is my son Caden. Oop, no. Sorry. Lance Lazer. I'm like, yeah, this is way better, Dad, yeah. This is 10 times better, yeah. So, but my mum said she shed a tear, but really? She's cute. She'll always call me, like, even to me, she'll say Lazer. She'll call me Lazer, which I think is cute. That's awesome. She doesn't call me Caden anymore. She's like, oh, it was your decision? Oh.
Do you think that, I mean, I know that it's probably, people don't give a shit as much as they used to, but about, like, sort of carrying the family name along. Did you get that sort of vibe?
I come from a very messy family. Like, my original birth surname was actually my granddad's, and I had a different surname to like everyone else in my family, sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not that sort of. Look, I've started a new family tree from Lazer. No, I don't know if I have kids, but like maybe it's just this one circle and it's just me in there. But yeah, I don't have sort of any sort of sentimental sort of thing to that.
Yeah. Oh.
How about the proud history of the Dowlings?
Oh, who knows? I don't pay attention. There's plenty of them around. I walked past a memorial. I can't even talk today. I don't know where it was, but I just quickly scanned over the names. There's a Dowling there. I'm like, I don't know who that is. So yeah, I don't know.
Uncle Bob.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't put a lot of importance on it. I think when I got married, I said to Jess, I go, keep your surname. Like, I don't give a fuck. And she sort of like the romantic sort of aspect of it. Goes, no, I kind of like the idea of taking on the name, sort of like, a commitment, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, well, you're cool. But for me, I do not give a shit. Like, you do what you want. And it was nice gesture for her, but for her to do that. But at the same time, I've got no inkling to keep anything going, and no inkling to have kids anyway probably ever, or at this point in time in our life. So, but I know so many people, it's sort of like the very American thing where it's like, they don't even do surnames. They just do the first name. It's like John Jr.,
Yeah.
John Senior. You know,
Dude.
and it's just like okay, very creative.
I still want to see that happen just with chicks.
Yeah.
Because you never see like Belinda Jr. That's what I want to see. Like just go the other way.
Wonder why that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Like that would weird people out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I always go like, man, imagine like, I can't put myself in that mindset of like, all right, that's my kid. I want him to have my name.
Yeah.
Like, so he has to like live in my sort of shadow sort of, it's always like weirded me out. But I do love when like, say we're basketball fans, so like Marcus Morris.
Yep.
Because he named his kid Marcus, and now he's got Morris Senior on the back. I'm like, that's cool. And I'm not a fan of juniors, but I love the thirds, and you can only get a third if you've got a junior.
You gotta do the rest. Yeah,
So-
true. Okay, so there's definitely a hurdle you got to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, the second one's going to be shit, but the third one's going to be legit.
I reckon you just do like the sixth, and if you ask, oh, well, where are the other ones, and just say, I can't tell you, and just just make it a mystery. You know, they
Yeah.
exist somewhere. Just
Yeah, why not? Just name it. Oh, this is just like, this is Randall the third. It's just like, what other Randalls are there? Oh,
Well, going back to basketball, put the 00 at the end of someone's name. Yeah. That's Andy Dowling 00.
Or Andy True 00.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very good. All right, yeah, basketball. So, your Celtics.
Yeah, I'm Boston everything.
Yeah, Boston everything.
Yeah, it's because of my love of Cheers.
And you've got your Cheers tattoo as
And
well.
I do have the beautiful Cheers logo emblazoned across my stomach.
Was that oh, actually, fuck. Okay, well, I'm going to go off on a tangent again. I was so fixated on basketball, but now I'm going to go Cheers. You've got some fucking out there tats. You got some real good stuff. And the Cheers one's like just hilarious. I mean, what was the first tat that you got? And then is it a case like now, I don't know what recent the last tat is.
Oh, that'd be my Life Sucks.
Life Sucks. It's like it's a burning skull.
Yeah, it's like Todd from Beavis and Butthead has Life Sucks, except I've replaced the skull with Murray from Curse of Monkey Island. So, like, I put my favourite skull in instead.
Yeah, just gonna make sure it's a favourite one.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever hesitated with any of your tattoos? I mean, you know, like the old stereotypes of generational sort of, oh, you're gonna regret that one.
Yeah. Never hesitated. The thing about it is, like, I look back on some, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty dumb. But it's also like, that was me at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just like, it reminds me of like, oh yeah, look how dumb I was then. That's pretty funny. I don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, once your body's done, it's done. So it wasn't that.
You got one where it's like a sperm whale, Moby Dick, or something on a surfboard, or something like that.
It's a blue whale.
Blue whale.
And he's on a surfboard with a jetpack.
And it says Smile Island.
And it's drawn by Salty.
Yeah. Andrew Saltmarsh, he's been on the podcast. There you
Has
go.
he?
Yeah.
By the way, like, another tangent, you got me onto Toe Hider.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to cover Ulysses 31 theme. And I think I sent it to you, and you were like, oh, this is sick. Oh, did you know Toe Hider did it? I'm like, they've what? They've stolen my idea? And then I listened to it, I'm like, and they've done it 20 million times better. And so that's when I got it. Now I fucking love Toe Hider, man. Mike's a fucking legend.
Yeah, he's a wizard. Now, Salty did another one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did my fireman with a jetpack. I was going with a jetpack theme at the time. And so he's all muscly, and he's got 2 flying Vs on fire behind him. But my first one is actually when I was 18. My dad took me on a bonding trip to Cairns, and he goes, let's get tats. And I'm like, all right. So he went and got like the Chinese symbol of happiness or something. And I'm looking around all the walls, and I'm like, I don't want just something off the wall. So I went up to him, and I had a song in my head at the time, and I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. I just want to get the song title on my back.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right. And I'm like, Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, we're not doing it. I'm like, but that's what I want. And I stood fast. I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely getting that. And they agreed as long as I didn't tell anyone where I got it.
Right. Okay.
And so,
do you have to sign a waiver with like I've never got a
no,
tattoo. In my
you
life,
don't. You don't have to sign a waiver or anything.
I just imagine people regret certain tattoos, and they're like, I don't know, you get some sort of psychotic idiot that would try and blame the tattooist, maybe to depression or something like that.
I think it's there's probably some sort of act, like tattooing act or something, where it says, look, you're only liable if you do like deliberately bad work.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas like, if you're going to pay for a cheap tat, it's not going to come out that well.
Yeah.
But if you go to a reputable place, they're not going to ruin their reputation on fucking up.
Yeah.
So
So as long as you didn't say who did the work, they were going to do it for you.
and so I've got Rock and Roll McDonald's on my back, a tribute to the greatest rock star of all time, Wesley Willis. I do believe that he's the greatest rock star of all time, the most pure rock and roller that ever lived.
And big influence for you.
Huge influence. Yeah. We've Tough Boys have only ever covered one song, and that was "Suck My Dog's Dick" by Wesley Willis. Which is I don't know if you remember, like back in the file sharing days, you'd get surprises like that.
Yeah.
That's how Wesley Willis got big, was through like Napster and Kazaa and shit.
Did he have was he the one that had cut the mullet?
Cut the mullet, he
Yeah,
did.
yep.
And get that filthy ass rat's nest off your skull. Yeah, but what happened was you download something like Nirvana covers Enter Sandman live. It's like, fuck yeah, that sounds sick. So you download it and you can't wait to listen to it. And it goes, suck a racing horse's booty hole. And you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? Suck my dog dick. And it's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. This is far better than if Nirvana was covering Enter Sandman right now.
And if you're using, I can't remember, would they use the ID3 tags? So when you eventually load it up into like Winamp or something like that, it would actually show Wesley.
No, it's still. I don't think that one. That was definitely the "Suck My Dog's Dick" file title, but I don't think it had ID3 tags. Like eventually, everyone just figured out it was this guy named Wesley Willis.
Right, okay.
But speaking of Winamp, they were huge. They knew how big Wesley Willis was in the sort of like file trading scene. That they based their "It Really Whips the Llama's Ass" on Wesley Willis.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
That was the little file you got every time you downloaded Winamp.
Yeah, right.
So.
That's a throwback. Far out. Cut the mullet. Yeah, man. And I guess, like, actually, I remember, like, when you'd be waiting for, like, the next Metallica sort of release, and they're saying, brand new Metallica song, and you're, like, downloading it, and it ends up being, like, I'm sure you probably did the same. I think there was some other band in the States that were, like, a Metallica like rip off,
like they sound alike.
Yeah, they sound, and there was like a song called "Hunger" or something like that.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh man, this is a new Metallica, and we downloaded it, and we're like, I don't think this is it. But you wanted it to be.
What's going on with James's voice?
And then suddenly everyone's talking, going, no, it's fake. It's like, oh, damn it. And like everyone's trying to be sneaky to try and get their song listened by everybody, but it wouldn't have benefited them at all because as soon as you found out it wasn't them, it's like, fuck it off.
I forgot about Hunger, man. There was Hunger. There was another one. I forget what it was called, but there were the two that went around, and Hunger was one. Yeah. And it was just like, wow, that's average.
Yeah,
that's a real just like we're trying to write a metal song.
That's right. Yeah, man. I fucking know. Yeah, the IRC days was so many little things. I mean, that was my life for years. Like,
dude,
I think from like 16 to maybe, it was definitely 18 because I started to go to meetups with some of the people up in Brisbane and things like that, like these nerdy sort of online meetups.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at least a couple of years there, like using it, and we'd have like Dale from Melbourne who had like 50 million CDs, and he had his catalog of MP3. So you download the text file, and then you start requesting.
I used to go on his like you have the command that you can go into his
directory or whatever.
The directory for all his songs, and I used to get like a bunch of shit from that.
Yeah, that was a different world, man. Like absolutely crazy.
How old are you now?
Every time someone asks this, I always hesitate because I don't know. 35, so 36 this year.
Yeah, I'm 33.
Yeah.
I lived like 20 k's out of Mildura, so I was in Whoop Whoop, and so my only contact out there was like Merc and shit. So you had like your ones for local friends and all that sort of stuff, and then I've just gone into Australian Metal, and it had the trivia every month.
Yeah.
And I won trivia one month, and I don't even know who ran that whole thing.
Yeah,
but
someone in Melbourne, I can't remember his name.
But yeah, like he used to give away a CD every month to whoever won trivia. And I remember, like he even let you choose it. And I go, can I grab The Dreadful Hours by My Dying Bride? And I got it in the mail. And it's like, it is legit still my third favourite metal album.
Well,
like behind Puppets and October Rust, like Dreadful Hours. And I got it through like trivia off Merc. It's like, man, that is so good.
Oh, bless the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
was a good community, man.
There was a lot of people on there, and a lot of people that sort of rotated in and out. And there's obviously those particular people that were just staples and almost like the foundation of that channel.
Yeah.
But then there were people who just came and went, and like the rivalries between people were just incredible. Like the shit talking and like just this crazy sort of back and forth between people is just insane. And you just get sucked into it. It'd be hours on there, just hanging shit on each other, and then just doing slash me. Whatever action doing, or do the trout slap or something like that, or playing.
What were you doing? Throwing bricks or something?
Throwing bricks, Swazies, slap whore of Satan, all that stuff. Yeah.
Was Dale Suey?
Yep.
Was that like short for suicidal tendencies or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe, yeah. But it was such a weird community. I mean, I found out about that. I think I was on the Metal Rules forums.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of other Aussies on there. There's a guy, I think Stan in Melbourne, mentioned it, or he might have sent me a message and said, oh, hey, by the way, there's the channel, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's IRC? I've got no idea. So I had to download it and then try and work out how to, because it's not like the easiest thing to sort of get up and running. It's just it's really sort of, really convoluted sort of chat program. And chat's just sort of scraping the surface of what it does. But I downloaded it and tried to follow all the prompts and the instructions, and eventually found my way in, saw the list of names on the right-hand side, and went, oh, I think they're people. And I'm like, wow. And then suddenly just watching the feed, just flying up the screen. I'm like, I've got to keep up with this. And like, it's all happening like in the moment. It's not just post something and wait for someone to reply. It's like, we're chatting.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but it was, I mean, that was massive for me because, and as you said for yourself, like where you were, there's nothing out your way.
Dude. And like, because where I was, I had no chance at getting any sort of broadband. So it was 480 so like there was like neighborhood cable. I don't know if that was internet, national or anything. But yeah, that was the only thing, but you could only get it in the city. So like, and there was no YouTube or anything. You couldn't just figure out what a band sounded like.
You'd have to get Real Player and then download like that really sort of low res video clip that probably goes for like 30 seconds and takes half an hour to download.
Oh, dude. And you used to like leave like your file sharing on overnight just so you could get the one clip
and time's out or something.
Dude. And you always wanted to find, and then you get like a real shit live clip and you're like, no, I want the film clip. But that whole scene, like just meeting people and them giving you recommendations like directly, not having to read it, but like in real time, like. Bringing up Trixie again, like he introduced me to so much hair metal and like melodic rock. I know that's your jam. So he once made me a CD. First, he burnt me a copy of Saints and Sinners by Kane Roberts because he was just like, "Trust me, this is the shit," and it really is the shit. It's so good. But he also made just a best of AOR melodic rock.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And so had like some Journey, Harem Scarum, Stage Dolls, all this sort of shit on there. Which I bet right now you'd just be like, man, I'd love to know what was on there. Yeah. There was just, and they like TNT.
Yeah, cool.
Tonight I'm falling for you. Shout out to Tony Harnell playing the Arkabar in March.
I know, acoustic as well. Yeah. Oh man, there's a package of bands that are floating around the country in a couple of months.
Kip Winger and Tony Harnell. And the night before that, Pretty Boy Floyd's playing Leather Boys in full at the Arkabar as well.
Yeah.
So, there's that melodic rock fest in Melbourne, which, I don't know, it seems weird. Like, I'm not trying to shit on it if it does go ahead, but there's just, I don't know. The bands are definitely coming, so that's good.
Well, the lineup's great. I don't know. I'll be careful. I'll be careful what I say, but look, I think it's a great idea, and that fest the guys have been doing it in the States for quite a few years, and I think Andrew, who sort of started melodicrock.com and all that, I think he's from Tassie, great guy, but I think they had issues with trying to get it all together, and I think maybe they didn't realise what sort of effort would need to be put into it. I got no idea, but they had issues with venues, and eventually the venue that they picked is like this beautiful theatre. It's like this amazing theatre, but it's just all seated, and it's like, you know, like if you go to the cinemas and the way the seats are sort of, you've got to kind of get up when people walk past, and so it's like, well, you know, what are you going to do? You're seeing a bunch of like melodic rock bands, these anthems, these great songs, and what are we doing? Sitting down, like, and then what if you want to have a drink? If you got to go for a piss, then you got to go and disturb everyone to get out of the seat. And now I'm watching people online trying to get some clarity around allocated seats. Do we have allocated seats? Should we, shouldn't we?
Is it free for all? Oh,
yeah, and I
geez.
saw the guys. I don't really know the guys who are running it, but I've watched them sort of respond to a couple of people, and I think that they sometimes let their frustrations out on people asking these questions.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's not a good look.
That's not the way to
just chill
do it.
out. Like so. I sort of looked at it and I thought I'd be prepared to go down because the lineup looks so good. But when they started announcing sideshows for all these bands, I'm like, nah, I'm cool now.
Yeah.
The only band that I think now would still be cool to see is Firehouse. I have seen them play before. So
yeah, I haven't seen them. That'd be sick. My main band, even though Donnie's not in the band anymore, and I think I'm just going to go over to Melbourne because they're not coming to Adelaide, but I might go over to Melbourne for their midweek. Like they've got their own show. Is Enough's Enough?
Yeah.
Because I fucking worship Enough's Enough.
Yeah, cool.
I just think like songwriting wise, you won't get much better than that. And I just loved it. And Chip sounds fucking sick. Like he's got a cool voice that can sing the songs. Like it's not Donnie, but it still sounds great. And so I'd love to see them. And I think they were one of the headliners on one of the nights or something like that. So.
Yeah. And I think the only band that I was on the sort of on the verge of making the decision to go to Melbourne was FM.
Yeah.
Like just me being the AOR fucking nut that I am. I was like, man, if FM don't play anywhere else in Australia, I have to go to Melbourne. I'm gonna have to outlay this money and just like really commit to the whole thing. And then I think last week they announced a bunch of sideshows and I'm like, yes, all right, excellent. So I've got like on like a Monday night or whatever is FM, then Tuesday's Kip Winger. And then I think there's a couple of other side shows that are happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm sorted now. So
Have you seen Winger before?
yeah, I saw Winger in I wonder what it was, 2008, I think. They came out with Rap.
Yep,
Did
2007.
Oh, 2007.
I went over to Melbourne for that one.
Yeah, so I went to the Sydney one and went with Tonchi, who used to be on IRC, the Hellion. That was his username. He came down to Sydney and we went and we got so wasted beforehand. There used to be a bar. So it was at the Metro Theatre in Sydney and there used to be a bar downstairs called Bar Ace. And it was just this, not a dive bar, but it was just a very sort of cheap and nasty bar and it was like ridiculously cheap drinks, like $3 drinks or whatever it is. So we just like lick it up beforehand and I was so obsessed with Winger at the time. I was just in this whirlwind of like just intoxication but excitement and I just remember like yelling at Reb Beach in between songs going, I love you, Reb, where are you staying, where's your hotel room? And then you could see people around just turning around and looking at me. I just did not give a fuck. I was that wasted, people looking at me. And then Rod threw out his drumstick at some point and somebody in front of me caught it and I was just screaming like this banshee and he turned around and he gave me the drumstick and he basically said something like, I think you want this more than me. And I'm like, yeah. And Tonchi was next to me and we were like just cheering, jumping up and down. It was like the best moment. But I remember like Winger was awesome from what I can remember. But I remember sort of, I think Reb was sort of like looking out, just going, can someone like fucking knock that guy out? Just like this. It was kind of funny the first couple of times, but now just shut that guy up. Yeah. But it was Winger and then Rat played afterwards and then the power went out halfway through their set.
Oh, that sucks to know.
It just killed the whole momentum of the night and I think, I don't know how long it took, but it took long enough that it became really awkward. Yeah. And they couldn't do anything. Like
a few chants go up, this is bullshit.
And like he couldn't even talk in the mic and just try and do some crowd work or anything like that. It was just nothing. So they had to sort of walk off the stage and just wait for it to kick back in. But so that was my Winger memory. So, but from what I can remember, it was pretty good.
Yeah, we went over to Melbourne for Winger and Rat, and because I got a hot misso, she got approached by one of the roadies. Oh, you want to come back, meet Kip, all that sort of stuff, her and her mate. So they were back there, and then she's like gone, and this is in my hair metal days, and there's photos of me with Kip Winger and Red Beach, and I basically look like Peggy Bundy. And I've even got like a pearl sort of necklace thing on and just big hair, big eyeliner, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, she got me back saying, oh, I've got another friend, can I bring them back? And then Kip Winger's going out and met me. And he's like, all right. So hanging back there, like Rod was like the nicest dude in the world and Kip's there just saying, do you know we were the only band from that scene that didn't have tattoos and all this sort of stuff? I was like, oh, I don't know if that's cool, but all right. And they were, they were great. Winger were great. Rat were Like Stephen Pearcy couldn't really sing that well.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
That tour, but he sings a lot better now. I've been watching
Yeah.
even though like Warren somehow left him. I don't know what's going on with that band.
I can't keep up with it. I was keen to see some of those songs. Like there's like Rat have got some of the best riffs of that era. Like some real kick-ass.
Unbelievable
metal
stuff,
riffs.
man.
Like some really good
that
stuff.
first album is one of my favorite albums ever. It's just great. But we also saw him. We went over to our first ever trip overseas. We went to the US and we did like Boston, New York, Vegas, and then LA. When we were in LA, Winger played at the Whiskey, and it was their first time they'd ever played the Whiskey apparently. So we bought tickets to it. We're like, oh, this is sick. But then Liz, her favorite band's Foo Fighters. And it was during that Sonic Highways thing, and they announced a show at the Roxy.
Oh, wow.
But it's like, oh, there's no way we're getting in, because that like holds like, what, 500 people or some shit like that. And so we've gone up to see if like, oh, we'll play that. We're Aussies, and can we? And there's people there going like holding signs saying, I'm a veteran, can I? And we're like, oh, we're no chance. So we going back, and we're just like, there was about 5 acts on before Winger. I'm like, that's a lot of support acts, man. And I don't know if you've ever been to the Whiskey, but there's not much seating.
Okay.
Like, it's just standing, and I'm like, man, I'm sick of standing up. Let's just go to the pizza joint down the road, because everywhere that was a pizza joint was also a bar.
Yep.
So we're just sitting up at the bar in this pizza joint, going, this is crazy, rah, rah. And then Foo Fighters actually finished before Winger went on, and this guy came in, and he's just wearing a lanyard, like Foo Fighters logo all over it and everything. And Liz is like, oh, he's part of Foo Fighters, all right. And he was there just to pick up the pizzas for the band after the show. He goes, oh, they're about to finish, so like it's gone quick, and I've got to go grab them. So the dude's like, oh, the pizza's not ready, they're almost ready, and it's this whole thing. And we're like, can you get us in? Is there any way? And then he's like, I couldn't even get my girlfriend in. We're like, oh, well, all right, cool. Apparently he worked at the studio that they recorded, because they recorded in each city. And but then at the end he goes, oh, and pop 2 beers for these two on the card. He's like, all right. And we're like, oh, thanks, man. And he goes, hey, don't thank me. That's on the Foo Fighters. We're like, Foo Fighters bought us a drink. So that was a cool moment. And then, we went and watched Winger, and it was sick. Because the first time we watched, like, when that 2007, Kip was kind of dad rock. I don't know if you remember that. Like, he was just wearing a T-shirt, not really, like, dressed up. But we saw him at Whiskey, and he's all, like, got the aviators on, like, this leather jacket and shit. Was like, all right, cool. And it got to the end, and he thought he had a mate there. He'd obviously teed this up with. He goes, "Where's our friend Rara? Where is he?" Wasn't there. He's like, "Ah." And he just like looked around, and he goes, "Does anyone here play bass?" And some kid's just like, "Yeah, I play bass." He's like, "All right, get up here." And he takes off his bass, gives it to him. Oh no, he gets a right-handed bass because Kip's left-handed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And he gives him this bass. And then Kip goes to lead vocals, and he goes, I hope you know I ain't talking about love. And he's like, yeah, man. So suddenly this kid's just like jamming the whole song with himself, which is only like 3 chords or whatever, but it was just like this cool moment. Like, this actually turned out better than like they probably prepared.
It's like one of those pinch yourself moments that you sort of dream about, going, oh, imagine if I got to get on stage and go and play. And this one kid went to that gig not even expecting that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in the heat of the moment, just bam, suddenly you're on stage playing.
The best I ever saw that was Steel Panther at Thebby. And this kid was in the crowd. I think he was like 17 or something. He had this bass drum skin that just said "drum off?" or something like that. And they've gone, "Oh, what's that say?" Bring it up, and it says "drum off." It shows it. And he goes, "All right, get up here." So he gets on the drums, and Sticks is just there going, "All right, well, show us what you got." And then I think it was Satchel was just like. By the way, I'm still a Metal Shop fan, like from way back, like 2003 Hole Patrol. Like still better than anything Steel Panther ever did. But anyway, I digress. And so, Satchel was just like, oh, play Hot for Teacher. And the kid just goes,
really?
And he's like, Satchel's like, oh, shit. And he goes, oh, I'm in the wrong tuning. Hang on. Swaps guitars and goes, start again. And played the entire song, like, flawlessly.
So
and it was just like, everyone's just cheering. It was the biggest cheer of the night. And
I love that
so
stuff.
Good.
Love that stuff. That's so cool. I've seen a few. I think Foo Fighters did that with somebody as well. I'm pretty sure they dragged someone on stage. Was a kid or something like that, played guitar or something, and he did a really good job. And I think like Dave's like going, "Whoa, what the fuck? I did not expect that." And I'm pretty sure Metallica's done it as well. But I love that stuff. It's just like that spontaneous sort of thing where it's just it could be an absolute train wreck.
It's awesome when it works, but when it doesn't, so I'm bad with like heaps of awkward moments where I'm like. oh, they got to get this guy off the stage.
Yeah. I'm feeling uncomfortable here. Like, I'll fill in the silence. I'll just start yelling, whatever it takes. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. That's they make good stories. I mean, that's the big thing. Yeah.
It's like you can go away from it and say, oh, this happened, but like in the moment, you're like, it's happened. Can we move on to the song?
Yep. Keep going. I hate when bands are on stage and they're trying to like warm a crowd up and they're trying to get like the crowd to chant, especially for an encore. Ozzy used to do that heaps. I think there's some live stuff, like some DVDs that he's put out where he's like egging the crowd on to do an encore, and I'm pretty sure he did it. I saw him in Sydney years ago, and he's like, come on, I want to hear you say encore, encore. And I'm like, you don't fucking say that. I said the crowd tell you whether they want an encore or not. Like, what are you on about? And he's like, and then he starts going, Aussie, Aussie. And I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't do this. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is awkward. This is like your dad, like, saying something totally, like, inappropriate or just doesn't understand, like, you know, what's the etiquette in these situations.
The one that gets me, and like, I don't hate it, but it's just like, it's almost fatiguing. It's like, and it, like, Metallica's my favorite all-time band and everything, but like at the start of the show, it's like, hey, and you're like, yeah, but then like about like 90 minutes in, you're getting to the point where you're just standing there going, hey. It's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be in every song, you know?
Yeah. Hey, just keep it going.
Hey, I'm tired, man. I'm like, you're up there like mouthing half your haze. We have to do all of it.
Yeah, you're away from the mic. We don't actually know whether it's coming out or not. You're just moving your mouth. Yeah, I think especially like local shows as well. You see, like I love bands that get on stage, and you'll be able to relate to this. It's like, you don't know who's going to be in the room, and even if you have like a handful of people, it's a bit of a fucking tragic set of circumstances in front of you. When you look out on the stage, you still play like you're playing in front of a packed room. Because you want to keep your standards up, but you just don't know who's going to be there. Yeah, and I love watching bands that do that, but I fucking hate when they are looking out and they're trying to get the crowd to like them. Yeah, and they're going, you guys are fucking quiet. I want to fucking hear you. And there's like 10 people in the room, and it's like, dude, this is not necessary, man.
Or they try to start up a clap. It's man. Most shows you'll get maybe 20% of people going for the clap, and if there's 10 people in there, that's 2 people clapping. No one wants to hear that.
I've fallen into that trap a couple of times where I've done the claps, and then I've realised like there's like a small portion of guys who usually I know, and I know they're like absolutely wasted, and they're like, oh yeah, Andy, yeah, clap, and the rest of them are just going, what? You know? And then suddenly I have to try and pretend that I'm not reacting to that. And I'm just like, yeah, I've done my clap, now I'm going to get back into playing. But yeah, it's so awkward to see guys, especially like lead singers up the front, and they're trying to get the crowd going, and they're not getting anything back, and you watch them just get more and more frustrated. They're getting affected by the crowd. It's like, oh man, you're getting sucked in. It's just embarrassing now, and it's that awkward moment. It's like, oh, can we move on? Like, please, drummer, hit the cymbal. Like, just get that hi-hat going. To count it in quick. Like, instead of like trying to do crowd work to like 20 people, and they're just like looking, going, oh, what?
Yeah, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Okay. And I hope it, like, I don't think it'll, like, ruin anything for you, even though I guess it would be cool, but I don't think you care either way. Like, I've absolutely built this up. But, okay, so tonight is our EP launch, which you said you're moseying along to. Yep. We've got a lineup where we're obviously headlining our own EP launch, but we got Atomic Sister, who are a hair metal band. This is their first show. And then we've got acts called Killing Center and Glen Aventi. And so far we've only had one person sort of figure it out, but I'm Glen Aventi.
Right, there you go. Bam.
So there's a secret. Like, this doesn't come out till after, so, but like, just, because it reminded me, like, playing to a packed room. I'm going to pretend like I'm in a stadium. And it's like Cranker room holds, I think, 200 capacity. Yep. And I'm going to be pointing up to, like, the side, the rafters, like, and there's obviously it's just wall, but I'm gonna like soak all that sort of thing in, and it's been pretty crazy. I've got this costume and everything. I've had to write songs. I had to write a song in Italian because he's got this big backstory where he's moved over here from Italy like over 10 years ago, and we've managed to convince him to come out of retirement just for this show and everything. And then like Mark comes on as Killing Center, which is like, sort of late 90s. It could be the soundtrack to Quake 2, sort of just
cool.
like real electronic sort of, but like metal-y sort of stuff. So it should be pretty fun. Because only one person's messaged me and gone, I'm on to you. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm still trying to play it dumb, but I didn't know how to play that. I didn't know whether to go, fuck, you caught us, can you keep it to yourself?
Yeah.
Or to keep playing dumb and then risk her just being like, I reckon it's and spread it
around, yeah.
But I played dumb because I figured, like, just in case I can sow the seeds of doubt, at least it's still like a surprise to her. But sorry for ruining that surprise for you, Matt.
I look forward to it. I reckon, I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's just the fact that, you know, you're trying to have fun with what would be a normal sort of local show, you know, with a bunch of local bands and people rock up and they're going to see something that's fucking entertaining.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We always try to do something like each show. We've never played the same set twice. So we want to make each show unique. And we went with this one, let's just go all out. Like, we're playing for an hour. We've never played more than like 40 minutes before. And so it's just like, all right, yeah, let's fucking... And we practiced like the whole thing last night. And we can do it like stamina-wise. We got the fucking we didn't get tired or anything. So it's like, yeah, we can do this.
Man, I can't wait. What was the single that you guys put out a little while ago? Did the video clip?
Sexy Man.
Sexy Man, that's right. Yeah. When you put it out, I was playing on my phone, and I'm at home, and Jess walks past. She goes, "What the fuck is that?" And so she stood behind me and watching it, and then for the rest of the day, she's just singing. And I was just like, "There you go." I said, that means the song fucking works. I said, if you can remember it and it's stuck in your head, then you're onto it. So,
my songwriting process always comes out of a hook, whether it's a riff or like something on like the synth, or that one came out of the vocal.
Yep.
I'd eaten like 3 bowls of ice cream. I was just like, I think I was hungover, so I'm just there on the couch. It was middle of summer. Just in my jocks, and I just felt like a fat shit, just like, and then just in my head, just without even thinking, I just started singing, just like, I can be a sexy man, I can be as sexy as anybody can, and then I'm like, oh fuck, that's good. Now I have to write this, so I got up and I waddle over my guitar, and I'm like, had to figure out the riff, and then once I got the riff underneath it, I just like left the vocals aside, followed the riff wherever it went, and then the song just fucking wrote itself. And I was like, oh shit, this actually might be something.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. And I think it sounds silly, but it's so you. Like it's so like it's just your personality and everything that you do. I mean, I don't know if you ever met TY, who used to drum in our band years ago.
I met him in Dungeon?
Yeah.
I think this is Megadeth in 04?
Yeah,
04, 05,
yeah. So, because he edits the podcast, and so every time you do something, because you did your solo album last year, I think, or the year before, I think the Me one.
Oh, Me.
and I'm showing, I go, okay, hey, TY, and I go, so do you remember Lance Lazer? He's like, oh, yeah, fuck oath. And I go, check this out. And he's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so every time you're doing something, I flick it over to him, and I think now he's following you on some of the pages and everything. But it's just, everything you do is just, it's this timeline of events from when sort of we connected online and going back and forth, and then like you changing your name and then just doing the stuff. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's just sort of this carefree, like, if I like it, I'm just going to fucking run with it and just have fun.
I just, like, basically, I'll be there and I'll come up with an idea and I'm like, I want to do that idea. And then not always, it usually just ends up, it's just for that. That was that idea, but I just had to do it because...
Just get it out.
Like, the Me thing, it's sort of based on... Did you ever hear My Dick? My Dick is, like, one of my favourite things in the world.
Not sure.
And it's fun to use that in conversation as well. Like, have I shown you my dick?
My dick?
And it's just these couple of guys from Boston, and it's a similar concept where they get sort of like karaoke versions of songs, and then they just sing over the top but change the words to being My Dick.
My Dick, yeah.
So it's like, say like Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. And I remember my dick in your car. My dick so fast like I was my dick. City lights lay on my dick, and my dick was wrapped around my shoulder and my eye. And it's just unbelievable because like each song surprises you in a different way.
Yeah.
And like that was in 2012. Still waiting on the follow up. They did a whole album, and so like it was just me and Liz sitting at home watching, just like doing a YouTube session, like looking through. Happened with Patrick Swayze, She's Like the Wind. Suddenly it's just like, how funny would it be if he was singing about himself? I'm like the wind through my tree. Well, the thing that cracks us up, I feel my breath in my face. Well, that's so funny. And so it's like, I have to do this, actually. I have to do
now it's in your head,
Now I have to do, like, come up with the best songs of this. And for the rest of the night, we were just coming up with what songs work for this. And like, I'm simply the best and all that sort of thing.
Was it called I? Was it Me? Did you call it Me?
Yeah, it's called Me.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
It's all about me. And I performed it live twice as well.
Have you? Yeah.
And the first time I did it, I was shitting myself. I'm like, this could be the dumbest thing. And people were like, boo, get off. What the fuck are you doing? But it worked really well. Because people weren't expecting
a backing track and you just got up there.
Yeah, I just downloaded, like, I tried to find the dodgiest versions of karaoke. Like the real, like, if you were at a karaoke bar, it'd be people walking down the beach, like, holding hands, and it's got nothing to do with the song. That sort of stuff. And it's like hell, just like cheap, like Casio synth style versions. And then I just sang it on top of those.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good.
And then like just before I was like, oh, this sounds good, it needs something more me, I put in each song just a dumb shred solo.
Just to class it up.
Yeah. Just like anywhere, just like, oh, we'll just chuck in a shred solo here, and just does not fit at all. So
I love it.
Fun.
Oh, so good. Well, I'm going to chuck a bunch of links so people can check that stuff out. And obviously Tough Boys and all that. But, dude, I think it's been fun. Fun chatting.
Oh, we're done?
I guess so. Yeah.
I could talk to you for hours, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. Top flight for fun. No, I'm aching for a beer, and I think...
Fuck yeah, man.
Well, it's midday, so there you go. So we'll...
That's beer o'clock.
I'm going to go off and do that and get ready for the rest of the day.
Sweet, man. Well, I'll see you tonight, hopefully.
You will.
Excellent.
All right, thanks, man.
Check out the new single this Sunday, the 29th of March, 2020 Greek Olympics. I'll update the show notes after the 29th of March if you're listening to this a little bit after the fact. And I'll put the video clip for that song. That is my favorite song off the EP, by the way. Like, so good. So I can't get it out of my head. So I'm really, really happy that there's a video clip for it, and I have no idea what it will be. So I've got high expectations, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll also have the video clip for Sexy Man in the show notes as well, and I'll have all the links to Lance, Tough Boys, and also mentioning this podcast episode, me as well. Not me being Andy, but me, his project, will be in the show notes as well. So you can click through on your podcast player or go to andydowling.net or andysocial.net as well. Before we wrap it up, if you want to learn more about me, you can go to andydowling.net. You can check out our band Lord. You can go and check out the other podcasts that I've been involved with, Cell Starter and Nod to the Old School. andydowling.net's the easiest place to go. You can also donate to the podcast. The more money I get in, the more podcast gear I can buy, the more podcast episodes I can put out, the more places I can travel and go and do podcasts with people, or maybe bribe people to my place to do podcasts as well. Who knows? The money goes back into the podcast anyway. So you can go to paypal.me/AndyDowlingOfficial. More episodes coming up in the coming weeks. We're in Corona Haven at the moment. One thing that I will mention is that just of this evening, because I'm recording this intro and outro very close to release date, the poor Tough Boys have had to cancel their Australian tour because of the whole coronavirus thing. So probably more so postponed. I'm sure those dates will pop back up in the future. But big shame, but everything's getting cancelled at the moment. So while we're all homebound, or most of us, make sure you listen to heaps of podcasts, support podcasters, support musicians, and just get out there and, don't get out there, but, get out there in the internet and share stuff around and, you know what I mean. Anyway, more episodes coming. A Crazy Talk episode will be out next week. Another guest episode next week as well. 2 episodes a week if you're new to the podcast, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's enough. Until next week, folks. Ta-ta.